This is Stephen Janis reporting for the Real News Network in Baltimore City, Maryland. Wealth inequality is a theme of the Trump administration, and the story about how that works and how they make money off the backs of middle-class people starts right here. If there is one aspect of the Trump administration that deserves more attention, it would be just how much his inner circle represents the growing income inequality that in part defines the country. Case in point is Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Like the president, he is linked to hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate holdings. But it's not just about luxury condos and gleaming towers. Kushner has made much of his fortune renting to low-income residents in modest apartment complexes, and it is how he acquired this wealth that is the subject of a recently filed class action lawsuit.
It's important to me because everyone in my neighborhood, all of the tenants, we are working class citizens just struggling to make ends meet. So it's unfair to us that we're forced to pay a bunch of fees up front right away.
According to the lawsuit, Kushner has enriched himself unjustly at the expense of his tenants by charging improper fees to working people the Trump administration purports to represent.
These fees do pile up, especially when the rent's taken to pay off the fees, which then Westminster says, oh, well, your rent's late because we took your rent to pay off the fees, so we can charge you some more fees and additional fees.
The story of how this works starts here at a small, nondescript apartment complex called Dutch Village in northeast Baltimore. It is one of 17 developments across the state of Maryland owned by Kushner. Residents here are middle class.
And every month, it's 40, 50 eviction notices on people's doors. And everybody around here work. Ain't like we paying thousands of dollars for rent, you feel what I'm saying? So I know the people paying their rent to keep a roof over their kids' head. And
hardworking and making just enough to get by. Now this lawsuit is about fees. They add a lot of fees on if you're a little bit late. Is that something?
It's like $80, like an $80 late fee or something like that.
How does that affect people here?
Like most people working and trying to budget their money. Most people working 2 jobs nowadays to survive. And you hitting somebody with an $80 late fee, that could be coming out, that's taking food from my kid's mouth.
But that didn't stop Kushner from tacking on fees for late payment of rent that wasn't in fact late, and then using those fees to start eviction.
They end up paying more money than they need to pay, and money that's not legal. For example, the court costs, if they don't pay by the end of the 5th, they'll say you have to pay $30 in court costs. Well, the court hasn't awarded any court costs. There may not even be a court filing. But they say now, unless you pay this, we're going to file an eviction notice. And then they'll slap 5% on top of that. So the numbers just keep churning and churning and churning.
In fact, according to the plaintiffs, landlords wreak havoc on low-income residents in Baltimore, filing 155,000 payment actions against tenants, resulting in 7,000 evictions annually.
Ultimately, being able to file eviction actions on fees that you shouldn't be able to, and win them sometimes, is because there are so many of these actions being filed, there isn't enough representation, tenants don't know their rights, and often courts don't want to take the time to look more deeply into a case. We've overloaded the rent courts with so many cases.
And the Kushner real estate empire is no stranger to accusations of abusive practices. An investigation by ProPublica and the New York Times found his firm ruthlessly pursued former tenants for rent they say they did not owe. And recently, a Kushner-controlled property was sued for overcharging rent in New York. We attempted to reach Kushner for comment, but were unsuccessful. But for the tenants in Baltimore, the concern is about fairness, that their hard-earned money doesn't enrich a man who doesn't deserve it.
It's hard out here. We got a president that's crazy, you know what I mean? And don't nobody love nobody. And the people that's trying to live right and do right is people like him that own properties that seem like you stagnating us. You feel me? You keeping me right there. I'm trying to grow. I ain't trying to stay here forever.
This is Stephen Janis and Taya Graham reporting for the Real News Network in Baltimore City, Maryland.